Hey guys, we are back with another video. This time we're going to be talking about the Champions League because I think it has been a little madness. I'm going to move my camera just in a second. I'm going to move myself. Move, I'll leave myself here. I'll move myself after when we get to talk to that game. But very interesting because um, already this new format, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is not gonna work." A lot of games, but it brought out some interesting games. If we go to the knockout playoff round, which is something new, and also it means that we have more Champions League football, which I'm sure everyone's happy about. But the first round, there was some crazy stuff happening. We knew that it was going to be a little bit weird, playing earlier in the season, but there was some pretty big upsets. Let's start the first round here. Club Brugge beating Atalanta 2-1. Obviously, that controversial penalty will be something that Atalanta will be screwing about. Feyenoord beating Milan. I mean, Milan were playing not. They were playing pretty well, but Feyenoord just were better on the day. And then we go to the other match. Bayern Munich won 2-1 against Celtic, but it was very, very close. And you look back to this game and you think maybe it could have, if this game didn't finish 2-1, there would have been a chance where Celtic could have actually gone through. Um, Benfica, Monaco was a kind of a boring game. Benfica did win 1-0, which proved very important. Milan Feyenoord, very interesting game. Milan was completely dominating the game, and then Theo Hernandez just froze the game away. Obvious dive, just no reason to dive in the modern football, especially when you're the better side. Atalanta, I mean, I'm sorry, it was a tough night at Atalanta because I don't know if they would have won this game, even if Lookman scored the penalty, because they were down already quite far. They buried themselves. They just weren't playing good football. The Italian sides were just not playing good football. Two Italian teams out already. Italian teams were doing great last year, so it's crazy to think about that they just fell off so hard. And then we have Bayern Munich. Last minute winner by Alphonso Davids brings it home. 94th. It was probably the last play of the game. It would have gone to extra time. But Celtic very, very nearly pulling up a crazy upset. Benfica Monaco, a very crazy game. A lot of goals, very fun. But at the end of the day, two very closely matched teams. Benfica were the better side, probably. And when we go to the knockout second round, the second leg between the other clubs. So we have PSG and Brest. I mean, Brest, I feel like they could have done quite a hit. They could have done better, but facing a team that knows you and is in the same league, it's always tough, especially when if they faced another team from a different region, they might have that element of surprise. So PSG kind of knew them and just beat them up. Real Madrid, I mean, Real Madrid were doing Real Madrid things. Very nice game. Probably one of the most probably one of the best games. Bellingham with the 92nd minute winner there. And then we go to Juventus PSV, which again, I mean, another Italian side doing. They could have probably scored more goals. Perisic, that was a beautiful goal. And then Sporting, kind of since Ruben Amorim has left, they just haven't been the same team. And then we go to the second leg. Sporting and Dortmund 0-0. I mean, they probably rested players. They weren't going to pull off the comeback. PSG battered Brest 7-0. And then Real Madrid kind of Kylian Mbappe absolutely ran that game against Man City. PSV absolutely destroy Italian hopes. In I mean, that was a extra time win. Pretty pretty interesting game. I just feel like Juventus. I mean, their attack, man, they can't score. They can't score. They brought in Colomwani. He's been better for them, but where has Dusan Vladovic gone? He just can't score. PSV advanced, so that's three Italian teams out already. Now we go to the round 16, which is where there's been some crazy action happening. We look at Club Brugge versus Aston Villa. two teams that you might not think were in the Champions League, because if this was a match being in the Europa League or Conference League, you might be like, yeah, I could see that. But they're playing the Champions League, and again, I think for me, Marco Asensio has been one of the best January signings. This probably the best, most impactful signing so far. He's been so good, and he delivered here with a penalty. But Club Brugge were not super good on the night. Can they bring it back? We will find out. Real Madrid 2-1 win against their rivals. I mean, one of their rivals. Their domestic. I mean, domestic in Madrid rivalry. Rodrigo absolutely playing an extraordinary game here. He probably should have been a penalty. He probably should have scored two. But also huge props to Julian Alvarez for scoring another banger. He has been a revelation. Bram Diaz also scored an amazing goal. If you haven't watched that game out, you should check it out. Amazing stuff. And then PSV versus Arsenal. Absolutely shocking game from PSV. Their defense was horrid. I watched this game and I was like, I thought it was going to be a tight game for Arsenal as an Arsenal supporter, but I feel like PSV should have scored the first goal of the game. And then they kind of just turned off in the back like multiple times. The goalkeeper was terrible. 7-1. We have probably progressed. Just play a second team there and you'll be good. The rest a lot of players. Dortmund versus Lille, an interesting tie because again, you think these two teams are probably playing for this is their main competition because we look at Dortmund, they're 10th in the league. Last time I checked, they're still within a shot getting Champions League, but they're having a terrible season in the Bundesliga. And Lille, I mean, they're currently just outside the top four, but they're having a remarkable season in the Champions League. They probably want to go far and prove that Ligue 1 is actually a good league because another team that we haven't talked about, PSG, in the other round of 16. Inter, dispatched Feyenoord. Would you say convincingly? I mean, it was a pretty good game. I mean, it could have been 3-0 as well. If we look at the timeline, this is a game that I didn't really pay much attention to, but you can see here attacks, possession was a tight game. Feyenoord just couldn't quite do it when it mattered. And I mean, Inter, they are, they were in the finals last. No, they were in the finals 2 years ago. Time goes by. Time goes fast. Dortmund was in the finals last year. Man City are already eliminated, so we will probably have. We might not have any of the teams from the finalists. Dortmund are not very good right now. Another game, absolutely a must-watch, is this Liverpool-Paris game. Oh my goodness! I will say look at PSG's attacks 85 to 26, 65 possession to 35, total attempts 28 to 2. 28 to 2. You have read that correctly. 9 saves from Allison. Allison, I mean, player of the match performance. I mean, absolutely top drawer stuff. He was absolutely outstanding. Honestly, Allison Becker back to his golden form. What a game that was, and they managed to snatch it in the last few minutes of the game. So PSG are going to be very angry with themselves, but also the fact that PSG were so dominant is kind of scary. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the second leg, PSG will score a goal or two. I definitely have that on my probably put a bet in for that. Another game, a little bit disappointing of a game is Bayern Munich versus Leverkusen. Leverkusen, obviously, they know each other in the Bundesliga. Leverkusen have been very good against Bayern Munich in the past, but 2-0 down, they get a red card, 3-0 down, and now I think that Bayer Leverkusen are out of the competition. So that is it for them. And then another one, Benfica versus Barcelona. I will say Barcelona won regardless of a red card in the 22nd minute. So that shows you how Barcelona are so dominant. And Benfica, the fact that they couldn't score with 11 men to 10 for basically 80 minutes is kind of worrying. They're not a great team. I mean, they haven't been that good this season. You can see here in the total attempts, Barcelona still had a lot of chances and Rafinha slotted one. They go to Barcelona to yeah, they go to Barcelona with a lead of 1-0. But looking at this second leg here, putting my predictions, I would say that Barcelona is probably going to win about maybe 4-0, 4-1 maybe. Liverpool Paris. I mean, I think Liverpool are actually going to get eliminated here. I think PSG just they're so good, and I feel like Liverpool struggled so hard, and they relied on Alisson being a god for 90 minutes, which is worrying because if they go to Anfield and they play like that, Liverpool are not going to. They're going to concede. They're going to concede. I at least think Liverpool might concede one or two goals that game, and it's up to them. And I don't think they're Liverpool are a strange team. It feels like when Mohamed Salah is scoring, they can win games. But besides from that, it's a little bit of a struggle. Um, so we'll see what happens. I think PSG will go through. I think their attacking power is just too much. I think they will definitely break through, and then that will be the if they score one goal in the before halftime, I think they're gonna take it. Inter Feyenoord, I think Inter is probably gonna win this, maybe 1-0, 2-0, something like that. Leverkusen, I don't see a comeback happening. They're probably gonna be eliminated. Maybe it'll be like a draw. And then Lille versus Dortmund. I kind of want Lille to win. A sneaky suspicion that uh, Lille will progress because I think they are in better form. Dortmund are currently in a really I mean the fact that they're in 10th in the Bundesliga is just not great, and they haven't been convincing enough in the Champions League. Then we have Aston Villa vs Club Brugge. I also think Aston Villa will progress. I mean they're playing at home and they're definitely the better side in terms of players, and they're really on form right now. They'll probably win that game. Maybe 2-1. And then Atletico Real Madrid. Probably everyone should tune into that match. Probably one of the best matches that you'll see. I mean, they're playing at Atletico Madrid Stadium, and it's 2-1. I think Real Madrid could be eliminated here. I think that it's you have that Real Madrid plot armor, but are they going to be able to do it? I'm not sure. I think Julian Alvarez is playing insane, and I mean, Man City sold him for a lot of profit, but were they correct in selling him? I don't really know because that guy, I think he has Ballon d'Or levels. Um, I think he can win the Ballon d'Or in a few years. I mean, he's already won pretty much everything: the World Cup, the Champions League, the Premier League. He's currently in the race to win the league in his first season. So, and then Arsenal PSV. I mean, no doubt about that. I think PSV might actually win that game at the Emirates because Arsenal are going to be playing with a rotational team. I think it could be Arsenal could still win, but I think PSV are gonna show up because I think they're probably very they'll probably be very down on themselves and wanting to prove that they can still play, not get trampled every time they play against a Premier League side. So that is my predictions and kind of analysis for this Champions League draw. It'll be interesting to see because I look at this and I'm kind of like let's look at the bracket view here for a sec because I think Arsenal are going to progress and Arsenal they're going to be in a tough position because they're going to face Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. Those are probably two of the two sides that I would be up there contending for the Champions League. I think if Real Madrid and Atletico were in the bottom, they would be facing Barcelona up here for the finals. I think they're so good, these two teams. I think I'm gonna edge it to Atletico Madrid. I think it's gonna be Arsenal, Atletico Madrid. I want, I'm, I fully support Real Madrid. Um, I really like Barcelona as well. I just like those. I mean, some of Brazilians, loved Ronaldinho, loved Kaká. So many Brazilian Marcelo. So many good Brazilians were at these teams. So it's kind of hard for me to pick Ronaldo, the real R9. stuff. So, but I want to say Atletico. I think I like their style of football a little bit more. Atletico Madrid feel a little bit more. They play more as a team, and they're playing at home. Real Madrid, I feel like it's a lot of star power and individual plays. So I'm gonna go Arsenal, Atletico Madrid here, and I'm gonna go PSG vs Liverpool. I think it's going to be PSG vs Aston Villa here. And then here at the bottom here, it's going to be Barcelona versus Lille. And here is going to be Bayern Munich against Inter, which very spicy match. Bayern Munich versus Inter is going to be a banger. And it's tough to say, but I think Inter is going to progress. I think Inter are a little bit more consistent than Bayern Munich. I feel like they have a better team, so I think it's going to be Inter in the semi-finals here against Barcelona. I think Barcelona has a really easy bracket to the semi-finals. Barcelona versus Inter on the bottom here, and we have Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. That's a very tough one. I'm gonna actually give it to Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid's gonna go through, and then I think PSG here in the semis, and I think PSG are gonna be in the finals against Barcelona. PSG versus Barcelona final, and I think I think I think Barcelona are gonna win it. I think they're scoring so many goals. They're such a crazy team. If we look at the La Liga table right now, they're currently in first. They were bad for a few, but they have scored 71 goals already. If we look at that, the second team scoring the second most goals is Real Madrid, 55. Then let's look at the Premier League to see how many goals these teams are scoring. 66, 68 games. If we looked, the La Liga is 66, 26 games. So they have already scored more than the Premier League teams with 2 games to go. But anyway, it could be anyone's game. You look at Barcelona, they just been kind of Atletico Madrid's the only real team to challenge them here. So, but they have been amazing. Like they have been really smashing teams. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's my prediction, but I might be wrong. You never know what will happen in this world. It could be an Arsenal Aston Villa semi-final. It could be anything. In football, we can never predict, and that is my love for the game.